Okay. Good evening, everybody. It is Wednesday, February 26th at 6:30 PM. We're upstairs in the town hall for a meeting of the advisory committee. First on our agenda this evening is to address the FY21 budgets for the planning board and the board of appeals. So Erica Uriarty, town planner.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, do you want me to just walk through the budget?
Yeah, sure.
Does that sound good? Okay, so for wages, we have $63,285.60. And that includes the step and the COLA. Then we have
Can I
purchase.
just ask you to speak up, just because I know.
Oh,
that-
sure.
Yeah, it's a little different recording situation.
Yeah. So for purchase of services, I have 1,200. Advertising, 250. Supplies, 200. In-state travel, 400. Dues, 1,800. And then for meetings, I have 400. And I apologize, I have a backup calculation sheet that I was gonna hand out.
What's in it? Unless it's changed.
Oh, it's, the only thing that's changed is
Yeah,
the
that's,
wages.
that's
The
got
wage,
steps
right.
in
Okay.
it, so you realize that was without COLA.
I wasn't sure if that got shared or not, so, okay.
I like it because I can see it.
Good.
The print in some of this stuff is incredibly tiny.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we could definitely revamp the notes section. It's tiny.
And the older I get, the more I.
even with me, I'm like, eh. So,
Alrighty.
do you have any specific questions on any of those items?
Well, I just wanted to point out that your budget is level funded
Yes.
year over year, which is great. Every year we talk a little bit about what's included in purchase of services.
Mhm.
So I was hoping you could just explain for everyone's benefit, and then I'd also like you to talk about dues and specifically what you get access to through the Magic dues.
Okay, sure. So for the purchase of services, that covers sort of a variety of services provided to the planning department. So for example, this year, we're updating our master plan, and as part of that process, we're doing a survey. So I've taken it upon the planning department to pay for the subscription to, I'm blanking on the
Survey Monkey?
Survey Monkey, thank you. So that's one example of what that line item is used for. In previous years, I think like last year, we used those funds to have Fred Hamway, our peer review engineer, review our revisions to our common driveway rules and regulations. He's done that in the past for our subdivision rules and regulations. So it's a very helpful line item when it comes to updating various things with the planning board. So, would you like me to give more detail
No.
or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then for the dues,
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. The dues. So for Magic, I don't know specifically how that amount gets trickled down to services provided to Bolton. I do know that I have access to Magic representatives and Magic staff at any time.
And
Like,
what
I
is
can call.
Magic?
It's our regional planning group.
Oh, yes, okay.
Yeah, planning agency, I should say. It's a sub-region of MAPC, which is the larger planning agency. So, with that said, you know, if I have a question about something, like for example, on the master plan update, I've been calling them regularly, asking them questions about, you know, other communities that have updated their master plans, you know, how can we get technical assistance grant funding from them to maybe provide assistance in a more elaborate way. So it's a really good resource. But specifically, I don't know how that number gets trickled down to Bolton and how that gets used. I can
Okay.
find out.
no, I mean, it was just curious, but yeah, okay. Any other questions? Any other questions? No? All right, so for a total of $67,536, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, and Craig, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, so that's the planning board budget approved for FY '21.
Okay, so now we move on to Board of Appeals. And this is a really hard one. So essentially, we have $200 for advertising of hearings and things like that. So,
All right, is there a motion to approve the appeals board budget at $200?
So move. I'll second.
We'll do Joe and Craig. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, great. And then, Nanachka, I don't know if you want to let them know that we're ready, but in the
Yeah.
meantime, I'm gonna ask Erica to just say a little bit
Yeah.
about articles.
planning board articles?
Yeah.
Sure. So it's really pretty simple this year. Planning board decided to sort of hold off on some of the zoning articles because we are in the process of updating the master plan as well as our housing production plan. So they'd really like to see the results of those plans before they really move forward anything large at town meeting. So this year there are essentially two articles. The first article is to add bed and breakfast as a permanent use in the zoning bylaw through special permit.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Bed and breakfast.
Oh, okay, yes.
So, and it would be allowed in the residential district, it would be through special permit, so it would be highly regulated, and, there is the potential if, we end up getting a bed and breakfast that has 4 or more bedrooms, to be able to collect up to 6% excise tax, so that's a benefit. And it's relatively a low impact use that will fit within the rural character of Bolton. And provide an opportunity for residents to have a second income if they'd like to, change their, their house into a bed and breakfast, so.
Have there been any inquiries about this that have prompted the planning board to put this forward?
Not necessarily inquiries, I think the board was intrigued by the 6% excise tax. So I think that's really what fostered them to want to bring this forward. I also think it's, like I said, it's sort of a low impact use that could be a benefit to the town, so, they wanted to bring it forward. We do have an existing bed and breakfast in town now called Charlotte's House, so that's obviously a grandfathered use, and by bringing forward zoning to allow for it, that would bring them into compliance, which is always a good thing.
Cool.
And then the second one is an article so that the town can impose a municipal charges lien on real property in order to collect fee in lieu of affordable units under our inclusionary housing bylaw. And this again is just an added surety that will be able to collect those fees in the instance where a developer walked away from a project or something like that.
Can you just say those terms again and
Yeah, just explain
define
it.
them, because it's a
Sure.
little bit of jargon.
It's a little bit of jargon for myself as well, but essentially it will give the town the opportunity to place a lien on a property within a project so that we have the surety to collect a fee in lieu of an affordable housing unit, which is required under our inclusionary housing bylaw. So, through the permitting of, let's say, a subdivision, a developer decides not to actually build the affordable unit and chooses to provide the town with a fee in place of that unit, that's when this would sort of come into play.
So it's basically an enforcement mechanism for something that we already have in place?
Exactly right.
Okay.
And technically, it doesn't need to, we're updating our inclusionary housing bylaw, it's sort of a belt and suspender approach. It really just requires the passing of the general bylaw, which will be one of the articles, but we thought, okay, just to provide clarity to any developer moving forward, we're also going to put it in the inclusionary housing bylaw.
Does that clear the developer from actually even attempting to make an affordable unit or units?
We've always provided that option, so this really doesn't play into that at all.
Sure. What if he says, I'd like to do a 40B and say, here's however many 100,000 to get me out of building an affordable unit in there?
So inclusionary housing bylaw is triggered through subdivision, so it wouldn't be 40B, but it would be, it would be a subdivision. So,
So a subdivision of X number of houses, certain
Exactly.
number would be
So
low income.
every
And
8
then rather
units,
than
yeah.
make those low income, he would have to pay a fee to the town.
Exactly right. And that's, you know, every 8 units, you'd have to either build it or provide us some compensation for not building it. So it could be a fee or it could be land.
Somebody else just hear a knock?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
me.
Oh, okay.
There's a
Something's
loose
outside.
board under this.
This is like the second advisory committee
Yeah.
meeting that there's been some weird knocking. Well, thank you for the explanation. I have no further questions. Anybody else?
Feel free to email me if you think of anything or would like further clarity on any of this.
So I feel like, so we're all set, ready to go. on the-
Great,
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next up,
She is.
we have Ms. Carlisle.
No, would you like us to
Ready
sit
to roll.
here?
Anywhere, yeah.
Okay.
So why don't we start with budget 146, tax collector.
So the thing about this budget, when you're looking at it, to understand is that when you're looking at the previous years, obviously it's not like we're going down, sorry. We're level funded, but we're not going down, because we're splitting the budget. Now we're 146 and 145.
Yep.
So everything that you see here for requested for FY 2021 is everything I need as the tax collector. And it is all level funded with the exception, of course, of wages.
Yep. Okay.
But all of this is just my portion pulled out of 145. And then you'll see
Mine's a difference.
Kristen's will be difference in 145.
Yep. Would you mind just reminding us for the below the salary, but
Mhm.
beginning with software support?
So software support is Vadar.
Yep.
So that's our municipal software
Mhm.
that we use. I use it, accounting uses it, treasurer uses it, assessing uses it.
So now, that's basically split, that cost is split
Well,
between
the
this
bulk of the cost is for me, the 10,000, I didn't bring this to me, I'm sorry. It's yeah, it's like 10,900. And then there's my user fee, which is like $900. And then the others pay their user fees for Vadar.
Okay,
So Nanochka has one, Kristen has one, Assessors has one, and the
Yeah.
user fee. like-
And I have my own Vadar contract too.
Okay,
I have an additional on top
Oh,
of
okay.
this.
so I have the bulk of it for tax collector, and then Kristen is a user, and the assessors are a user, and then I guess Nanochka has her own.
And that's the 11,900.
Yes, it is. And that's a 3-year contract, so that hasn't changed in 3 years. It will end on June 30th, 2021,
mhm,
and then we'll have to renew, and we can talk then, but I'm sure Vadar is gonna increase their prices just like everybody else does.
okay. So we should expect this to go up for FY '22.
Probably 5%.
Probably 5%, yeah, would be, I guess I was gonna say 3, but
Well, I had talked to him about something else, and it usually is 5% for the 3 years. So it'll hold steady. It'll
Oh.
increase 5%, and then
Yep.
that's what I think will happen. But you never know.
because it's a 3-year contract.
Okay.
So that's what that is. Postage is for all the bills I mail that you guys get. Tax takings is exactly what it is. It's the expenses that we have for recording the instruments of taking
Mhm.
and other miscellaneous things that we have for tax takings.
I have a
Office
question.
supplies, yeah.
I'm sorry. It just made me think. So the tax title revolving account,
Mm-hmm.
will that be in addition to this, or should this money?
We have yet to see
I
any
know.
substantial fees come in. We have,
So keep this in the budget until you start seeing some.
this year, I think we have 5 or 6 accounts right now that are in the are going to foreclosure. They're in the process, and if any one of those closes, the fees that we get at the time of redemption that they will actually go into our new tax title revolving account. those fees can be used to pay for any recordings for future accounts. So it really, it goes back in to help us pay for tax title expenses, but we just haven't had any big redemptions that
We haven't had any,
no.
because we just started the process.
Yeah, we really got serious about this about 2 years ago. We contracted a new tax title attorney, and we're really being proactive. And again, we have several parcels that are actually in land court right now. So we just need to start seeing the fruition of some of those getting redeemed or foreclosed. And then those fees will go into the revolving account.
And so potentially in a year or two, this could be
Go away.
brought out of
Yes.
the budget.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And then it could be a self-sustaining.
Yeah, and then we can go after more properties, because every time we do decide to, I mean, it's kind of a catch-22, we gotta spend money to pay money, we have to upfront the cost to get it.
Right.
Okay.
But I believe that's in your budget, right?
Yeah, you have, the money in your budget would just be for the beginning stages, the
For tax
recording.
title.
Yeah, and then
Right.
I end up.
Foreclosure budget.
Yeah,
Right. Okay. So, do you have any more questions on that? Good, okay. Moving on, office supplies, that's self-explanatory. In-state travel, and the dues and the meetings are all to remain certified. Meetings that I have to go to now, especially now that I'm tax collector.
Yeah.
I'm not just tagging along anymore. And then to keep my certification, there are certain things, classes that I have to attend to keep my certification, because I have to be recertified every 5 years.
I have an amateur question. Do the rules change frequently, or is it like when you get recertified, is there
Mhm.
new stuff that the
Yes.
Commonwealth? Yeah, can you say a little bit
Absolutely.
about like what sort of things change?
So, I'm trying to think. So there's the thing is required that we absolutely have to attend, and that's the update to the municipal tax laws, and also for
New legislation.
it's all new legislation. And sure, put me on the spot here.
I mean-
It was in August. I remember one of the things that we changed. All recording fees were increased.
Hmm.
So now instead of 75 for my insurance of taking, it's 105. And can you think of any? I can't remember. I would literally have to look it up.
But there's always a few things.
Oh, there's always, yeah. And a couple of years ago, there was some major changes.
That modernization.
It was the
Everything.
Modernization Act.
Everything.
Everything changed. But that was, I think, 2 years ago that happened. It wasn't last
Might even be
It's
August.
like 3 years ago.
Oh, 3 years ago.
2017.
Yeah. So the rest of it's just, little things here and there that changes that we need to know about.
All right. Sounds good.
So that's pretty much it.
Any other questions? So I see an all-in number, $71,850.04. Is that what you have?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you have in the notch?
Yes.
All right, is there a motion to approve?
I'll move we approve the budget.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Good. I'll sit through yours.
All right. So I have the remaining balance that you see. Let's see, longevity, we are level funding it. We have additional employees that are eligible for longevity this year, but we also had 2 employees that, Linda Day and Cynthia Bradbury, that won't we won't have to add their totals to that. So it kind of all washes now that they've retired. So we can level fund longevity. Next one, software support. So my 8,100, that software support for me goes to Harper's Payroll.
Okay.
So that supports Harper's. And that's a payroll service that we use. And that also includes the printing of W-2s as well as the 1095-C forms for the healthcare, the Affordable Care Act. So that's all covered in the 8,100. And that was again level funded. We pretty much level funded everything. Postage, I do bi-weekly, I send out the payables, so all the vendor checks. So that's for the mailing on that, much less than Michelle's, but I still need that line item in there. Tax taking, we lowered it to 1,000, again, hopefully, once things go in another year or two, that'll be a moot point, but for right now, again, there's still phone calls and different things that we're charged for until, and again, once something does foreclose, the taxpayer, the property owner is responsible for all those fees, so we do get them back, but unfortunately, we do have to put the money out until that happens.
Mhm.
So that's what that line item is for. Office supplies, we just pretty much split that in half. Bank charges. This year, we were pretty lucky because depending on what type of borrowing we do, that's what we're charged for. So we did a lot of refunding this year, and we were very fortunate with that. When we did all the refundings with Unibank, we were able to take all the costs associated with that borrowing and roll it in. We kind of paid it with our premium, so I didn't really have to touch this line item too much this year, but I may need it next year. It depends, so if we do a state house note, or it depends on what type of borrowing. We just got lucky with the refunding, we didn't have to have we didn't have a separate invoice for those fees, but next year, it depends on what we're looking at.
Okay.
So I don't want to take that out, I want to keep that in there.
Yeah, and I don't have the actuals, but basically, you think we're gonna have leftovers at
Maybe
the end of
a
this
little,
year? Okay.
Yeah. But it's just hard to, tell. The state house note, I think, is up to $1,000. We do that every year. So that's kind of a given. That's the, well, actually, no, because we rolled over in October this year. We did it in June, and we did a short term. We rolled it over in October, so we won't need it until next October.
And then are we gonna get back on I can't remember, getting back on a June schedule?
Back to June, so, yeah, we may have to do 2 next year, so that's what it's for, it's just the cost of borrowing, it's the bank fees from our fiscal advisor. Educational assistance, I guess this line item has been in here, this is not utilized often, but it is available to employees if they want to take a college level course.
Oh,
That helps, contribute to their current position.
is it advertised? Like, do people know about it?
Not really. It's so little money. It's something I really should let people know it is available because I don't think, and no one has used it since I've been here. And I know Donna had set that up, so.
It used to be a lot more, and then it got cut, and
Yeah.
I don't know if it's enough really to,
And I mean, you're
I don't
also
know.
our HR person. I don't know what sort of, like, it's such a small amount. If there's multiple people claiming access, how do you decide? And,
That's accurate.
first come, first served.
Yeah,
It
so.
was larger and it got reduced because it wasn't being used.
Yes.
okay.
So if it starts being used, you have the opportunity to increase it again in the future. but-
Yeah.
That's something too, we can start promoting it,
Yeah,
let
making
people
people
know it's
aware.
available, and, why not?
I don't even know what a college class costs. I'd imagine it's much more.
Even at a state school, probably
A lot more than-
3,000.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
3,000-4,000.
people may not take advantage of it because it's,
Yeah.
doesn't, I don't know.
Well,
Community
maybe
college
this,
might be that.
Yeah.
maybe this time next year, you can let us know, like, if people said, oh, it's just not even
Right.
enough.
And again, honestly, my HR role is brand new and it's been a little overwhelming, so there's so many things I wanna do and I wanna
Yeah.
kind of dig into, so yeah, next year I think, once we start promoting it, we'll figure that out. In-state travel is, I go to, the Minuteman and Sugar Health meetings, as part of the health group, those are monthly meetings, regular faith travels, schooling, UMass Amherst, I still have to maintain my certification as well. Even though I'm not tax collector any longer, I still maintain that certification, along with treasurer.
Okay.
So,
Because she's my backup.
yeah. And then dues and meetings, association, mandatory association.
Like MCTA.
We're part of the MCTA, also Worcester County Club and Treasurer Association.
You have to maintain your treasurer certificate.
So that in a nutshell is treasurer.
Okay. Any other questions? So that's a bottom line number of $110,296.80.
Yes.
All right, is there a motion to approve?
I so move.
I'll second it.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. And then on to HR
Yes.
147.
Hey, you don't need me anymore.
Bye.
Okay,
Have a
fun.
good night.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
So this is pretty much level funded. This year, we had an exceptionally large number of key positions that needed to be filled, so a lot of my funding went toward advertising. But I'm hoping that slows down a little bit, but other than that,
And where does that show up? The
Yeah.
purchase of services?
yes, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and really that line item solely goes to, so far, since I've been in the position, has been, it goes to advertising.
So you advertise in like the Beacon and
Yes, I've done, when we did the assistant assessor, I went right to the Assessors Association page. We've advertised there, the Beacon, that's
Do
where.
any online advertising?
We do,
Yeah.
yep.
I'm not sure anybody looks at this because I try anymore.
And then we did the telegram, we tried the Clinton item, did the telegram, because we've had the COA director position, the assistant assessor,
Yep.
the Parks and Recs coordinator,
Yeah.
and then the library had quite a few, but until they took care of most of that, so it's been busy. So I think that budget is fine. Supplies and say travel dues and things. The one thing I love about being part of the HR world is their association is phenomenal. They have quarterly trainings, they have a boot camp coming up in May, which I'll be attending. So there's a lot of great resources and trainings to get on.
Yep. I think I said this in a prior meeting, but I just want to reiterate it. So last year for FY20, when you aggregated the treasurer, the collector, and the HR budget, that was $193,802. This year, when you aggregate those three budgets, it's $192,677. And so year over year, we're just flat, slightly down. So that's a good thing. All right, so for a total of $10,530 for human resources, is there a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve that.
I second it.
All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Okay. 710.
Debt service. And then Minaj was kind enough to fill in all of these figures. You're gonna see a lot of changes this year from last year because of the refinancing. We were able to consolidate a lot of these smaller borrowings into the one.
Okay, we are.
So if there's any specific questions.
Actually, I mean, so if we're looking at the same information, I actually don't know if I'm missing a page, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different items that you would want to cover. Is there more than that?
5, 6, 7.
Okay, so would you mind just quickly just describing what each of those borrowings are?
Let's see, Sawyer Repairs, Emerson School Treatment Plant. So these all had individual payment schedules from 7, 8, and 9. So basically, we just took all of these separate borrowings and rolled them into one. So that's why you don't have the separate breakdown. So instead of individually, and we're doing this up for another 10 years. So we have the Sawyer School, Emerson School, transfer station. So we have and a few land purchases. Not really sure what
Well,
specific.
I'm wondering which, like, if we look at prior years, like 2017, 2018, are you able to tell us which ones are now rolled up into one of the?
Can you see all the blanks
Right.
on the
Yeah.
town-approved FY 2020?
Yeah.
Those
The
are,
treatment plan, the library renovation,
Yeah.
public safety, those have all been consolidated into the one refinancing.
The
But-
January 2019 refinancing?
It was
just trying to figure out where it went.
There's two. They're refunding in January and a refunding in August.
Right.
Okay, okay, got it, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to compare. They roll off.
So do we have a total? Because I don't on my sheet.
On the, do you have the main sheet?
Um,
The total principal and interest, you have 1,031,249.
Why am I not seeing that total? I'm gonna come over here and see. Yes,
Screaming at you.
Oh, here it,
Bottom of 15 has the totals.
I have no idea where it is.
And then we still have the State House note too, which has the water aquatic inspection and the water works.
So do you have 1.3 million?
Oh, on the,
It's on the main, it'd be in the main.
oh, wait, I
Big
see
one.
that.
so do you have 1,353,385?
Okay, show me that.
1,333,749.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? Because I've changed since probably you got that before Bushmill land went up, that number went up. So that's probably,
So what is the final total?
well, all depends on what we're doing with Fort
With
Bushmill
forward,
too.
yeah, right, all right.
But right now, it's 1,316,760 right now.
Oh, okay. So should we hold off on voting on this
I
one?
kind of think maybe, and plus, I don't know if Joan was gonna get a real number for.
So that, according to Dawn, that is a valid number, because they've had like engineering work done and stuff like that, because we asked him about, remember we asked him about the water aquatic hill?
Was it, oh, right, because I thought bids might be open before town meeting, maybe that's what I said.
Yeah,
I thought I heard that. Maybe if it goes lower, we can move it on the floor.
Yeah, on the water aquatic hill, the draft of the warrant says that there's something about the water aquatic article that it's still in the hands of bond counsel.
So we're waiting for final figures. Bond council's going to draft it for us.
But wouldn't we just be borrowing from the state for that?
Yeah, but in order to use our excess bond proceeds from the refunding, it has to be written a very specific way. We got like $75,000
Oh,
extra
that's
from the,
what we're doing?
yeah.
Okay, all right.
There's some way that it has to be written in order to
Okay.
utilize those proceeds.
by the way, I don't think we've received a copy of the warrant, so maybe somebody
I
can
haven't seen
email.
anything.
Oh, yeah, because I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I got it because the selectmen are gonna review it
Oh, okay.
at tomorrow's meeting. It's not,
All right,
if it were up for general release now, it'd be a mess because
Not ready for prime
it's not ready for prime time.
okay.
Got
But
it?
I was puzzled about that borrowing because I haven't seen that before for other borrowing.
Right, we've never had that before.
All right, okay.
Because we save so much money.
All right, so
So
then,
this is the total borrowing with the exception of what we expect from water aquatic in terms of the bond.
Well, and the,
And Forbush Mill.
Four Bush Mill.
Yeah, okay.
Is he 50 here, for principal for Forbush Mill?
So it went, I extended the time period from 10 years to 20, and then the price went up also. So we don't really have a good price, Rebecca kind of threw out the 650 as a possibility, but I think they'll get clarity on those numbers pretty soon,
Yep.
hopefully.
Can we borrow for 20 years from here?
Yeah.
From the state?
Right? We did it for, yeah, we did it for Barrett's Hill and
Okay.
those other,
I thought 10 years was the maximum from the state. but That's good.
yeah.
And at some point, we can do another refinancing as well, or we can do it as a bond issue. So
But the refinancing we did was for, for exterior bonds, not for state house stuff, right?
no, we took some of the state. Yeah, we.
And you rolled it into, oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. They call it general municipal borrowing. So,
Okay.
yep. Mix and match.
so we'll hold off on voting on this one. But we don't expect any big changes. All right, so you want to go on to 9/11?
Okay, 752, or is that?
That's part of, that's,
part of
okay.
So, our retirement assessment, we were warned each year to expect about a 10% increase, and that's pretty much exactly what we did receive this year. It is what it is. The retirement system is trying to fully fund the system by 2035, so they're still on that track. And I have the form here. I don't know if you've seen the actual assessment. I don't know if I emailed that to you yet. It's based on our average age, the number of retirees that we have. The one piece of good information that I came away from this meeting with is we had an early retirement incentive back in 2002. So that's an additional $18,000 to $19,000 a year we've been paying. That goes away next year. So this will be the last year we have to pay that. I'm not saying it's going to make a huge difference, but it was nice to know that early retirement incentive will go away. So right now it is, we do pay right away. We get a 3 or 2 to 3% discount by paying right on July 1st. So we would end up paying around $520, $640. So that would be the assessment for 2021.
So the assessment for 2021 is
520,648.
and that, the placeholder we had in our budget was 542,249.
A little better.
I mean, it's 10% is still ugly, but
It is.
And like she said, you get a little discount when you pay.
Right.
yeah. Okay, so is there a motion to approve?
I so moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Then 9:13.
Unemployment, we've been zeroing that out. I don't think we have had any unemployment this year, so I would continue that. And then if there is a particular case that does come through that our hotline will, I think we've been just requesting a reserve fund transfer. But I don't think it's necessary to actually fund that account.
Hold on, so let me just get to it.
So we should add that, right?
So we can just keep that at 0. Okay.
Do we need to approve?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I so moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So did that change?
Okay. Health insurance.
So I'm pretty pleased to present this number. We, again, being part of the North Manitoba Health Group, we're at the mercy of, the group's performance and what our claims have been. This year, Fallon went up about 7.5%, and then we also have Tufts and Harvard Pilgrim. We only have a few, it's much less, so Fallon is definitely the greatest, has the greatest number of enrollment. But the other two claims went up about 2% and 3%. So overall, when we factor in everyone on the plan right now, plus we have experienced a decline in enrollment because we are now offering the health insurance opt-out, which has been really successful. We have 6 people taking advantage of that now.
And is that, sorry to interrupt, but is that rolled up into the group health number?
Absolutely,
Okay.
yes. So, I mean, the little that we pay out for that is definitely really making these numbers more attractive. So overall, we are going up less than 5%. So we're gonna do 570,000? Right? Yeah, 570,000.
570000.
Yeah, which is a little bit less than 5% increase.
Great.
Which in this environment, I think that's
Better than the $5.99.
right. I think that's,
Yeah.
it is what it is. Health insurance is going to increase year over year, but we're really trying to manage it. And we've also introduced the high deductible plan. We've had, considering comparing to other communities, even without our own health group, we've been pretty progressive. We have 5 or 6 individuals taking the high deductible plan, which the premium's much. Well, not,
What is the high deductible plan?
So
Like how high is the deductible?
it is $2,000 for an individual, $4,000 for a family, but the town also contributes. They pay half of the deductible, and we're still saving. We're still saving money because of the reduced premium, the monthly premiums. So that, and in conjunction with the health insurance opt-out.
So that's the actual that we don't have.
All right. Is there, I mean, that's great news. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve that.
Second.
All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Okay. Oh wait, you know what? I just realized.
OPEB?
OPEB is included in it, sorry. Well, so tell us our OPEB number and then we'll add it together.
That's the 189,380.
Okay, and we knew that from before and that hasn't changed. All right, so to amend that for a total of $570,000 plus $189,380. Is there a motion to approve budget 914?
I move we approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, you got that? And that's
I get it.
all right.
So why did the OPEB number go down? I'm just curious, you don't have it on the top of your head.
You know, we do have more people in high deductible plans, lost some employees, some people aren't taking health insurance. Interest rates are good.
Okay.
Okay, and then 915 life insurance.
Level funding is fine, 1,400. We've had some people come off of it, we've had some people come on, so it pretty much is just good across.
So can you just remind me though, like, is this like basically Boston Mutual, like?
It's Boston Mutual, it's a $10,000 policy for active employees, and it's $5,000 for retirees. And the town pays, it's a 50-50 split.
Okay.
Town pays 50%.
Do you know? Do most people participate?
It's a pretty high rating.
I'd say at least 15.
Yeah, I was gonna say
16,
20.
and almost, if not 100%, about 90 to 95% of the retirees participate.
Yep. Okay, so for $1,400, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then finally, Medicare tax.
So last year, we were at 49,000. I hate to say this, but I think we're going to need a reserve fund transfer shortly in about the amount of 3,500. I mean, this is directly based on the payroll that's going through. We have, I think a big part of the increase are the number of details. Even though details are paid from outside vendors, we're still putting it through the payroll system, so the town's still on the hook for the Medicare. With Watt Aquatic, we've been paying out a lot of detail payments to the police department, so that's been a big factor. Also, with the firefighters, the reserve firefighters, I mean, that department has been so
Payroll
successful, yeah. We have bi-week, we were probably paying 20 different people out of that, so it's,
Yeah, I think before, when we used to do the budget, we would just take 1.45% of the salary line items, but Kristen brought up a great point today, that it doesn't include police details, you know,
Yeah.
stuff
and
like
also we're dealing with retro.
that. That's true.
retro pay.
We didn't take union retro.
Oh, okay. So is the number still 53,624?
54,400.
David won't be here.
What'd you say it was? 54,400.
Yeah,
Okay.
You know, with this.
Any questions about that?
Yeah, we got it.
All right, is there a motion to approve?
I'll move we approve that budget.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I did have a question since we were just talking about Medicare. I don't know that the town would necessarily be in this position because you don't actually have any school employees on it.
Right.
But I don't know if it comes up with the Minuteman Neshoba Health Group that there's usually a class of retirees who may not be Medicare eligible because they didn't pay into the system before 1986. Have you heard about, what some municipal employers are doing is if they crunch the numbers, it's actually cheaper for them to buy into Medicare and shift those people onto a Medicare supplement.
It is really funny you said that. We just had this conversation. 2 weeks ago at one of the Minuteman meetings, and this was all new to me, but we have another meeting in 6 weeks, and that's one of the things that everyone's gonna come back to the table with, is that information. I think we, right now, only have one individual, one or two that is not Medicare eligible. But I guess it's quite a process, and someone's actually gonna present to that effect at our next meeting to see what is involved. There's actually an outside company that works with Minuteman and Ashoka Health that does that specifically.
Oh, that's
So
good.
it's in for a very minimal cost. So that's something that will get voted on once the presentation's made, and so that's something that actually is, I don't know a lot about it yet, because I was just,
Yeah, I think it's probably a much bigger impact for people that have a lot of school employees as part of their population.
yeah, we may have one or two that would fall into that category. It was just brought, it was funny, it was just brought up.
Okay. Well, I think we're, any other questions? Thank you, Kristen. Good to see you. All right, and then.
Right here, that's the,
Nanachka, did you let them know that they're on?
yeah, I think they're coming up. Yeah, that is that.
Oh, so it's,
Yeah.
it's here, plus the break, okay. Okay.
So that's the only, yeah, that's it, that's the only one. We don't have any other.
Hi.
Hi, you ready?
Yep.
I have a whole number on.
Since we don't have social security, we don't have.
Great, thank you.
Really? Yeah, you're on that.
We're on the first.
Yeah, planning board is downstairs.
Okay.
Did you get a copy, Nanachka?
I did, thank you.
You
You get the head of the table.
No, I think Kelly.
Let me send it.
All right,
Good
good
evening.
evening.
Were we ready? I'm sorry. We
Oh, no,
on?
yep, we're ready.
Okay. First order of business, I'd like you to be introduced to Kelly Gabbard. Carla, excuse me. She's so new, we haven't learned anything yet. Yeah.
Watch the wee stuff.
She's
Kelly Garlock.
Okay,
She's
thank
our
you.
new assistant assessor taking Cynthia's place.
Nice to meet you.
She's been on board for,
Yeah.
been on for what, 5-6 weeks? Something like that. And she was good enough to come to the meeting just to introduce herself. So if you have any technical questions, she might be able to answer. But I'm hoping this budget, which you all, we're going to have to make some changes, by the way, and I want to do that right off the bat.
First thing,
Go ahead, Kelly.
this year's budget, looking at Oxford and system, we realized that the payroll is going to be short. So we're going to need to go for a transfer by the end of May.
Yeah, towards the end of the year, once you start
Yeah.
getting low.
We'll be getting low in June, beginning in June. And that was just because of the time working with Cynthia, like all the overlapping payroll just ended up with a shortfall, so that just started.
It's a clerical error, which unfortunately, it'll change the numbers for FY 2020. If you all have, yes, we do, instead of 157.25,
For fiscal 20.
2020.
Yes,
Yeah, it'll go to 152,989.35.
Okay, so it's basically the last year's number plus the 2260.
That's correct. I'm just pointing this out to you. If you need the math, we can give it to you. If you want to do it at some point, you can.
Okay.
There is one other change. We mistakenly put I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah, software support, that highlighted 1,200, should have been 1,500. There's a contract, that we're looking at from RRC for personal property, because we don't have a platform for personal property right now, and they're the only one offering, software, free actual software, but the software support would be 1,500 a year.
So what we have to do is add 300 to 2021 bottom line instead of the 157,369. It's 159,036.20.
Wait,
Yeah, sorry. You did the old one.
158.
Oh, excuse me, that's right, 158,736.20 goes to 159.
Yep.
159,036.20.
All right.
Wait,
Point,
Yep.
159,036.20.
why does it go up to 159?
Because the actual amount that we have to
That
pay
highlighted software support, I put 1,200 in there, it should have been
instead of
15.
15.
The contract that I have attached to the packet for RRC.
So the 97,270 is changing?
No, the 5949
Okay, changing
for
to what?
software support, add 300 to that. So it'll be 6249.
Did you get that, Nushka? You need some.
So 159,036.20?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Got it.
And with that, you have our budget.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
The 11th of January, it's strangely about double the combination of the,
You want labor, sir?
yeah.
That was Cynthia's vacation time and all that.
Yep.
Yes, it
Okay.
was all
Good enough.
that, yep.
She never took any vacation. She was on some sick days and vacation.
That's fine.
It's nothing
So,
we can
yeah, it was a
control.
very,
Yeah, it's fine.
yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
what it is.
Just wondering why there was a slight spike.
Okay, so would you mind just kind of walking us through the budget?
What do you do?
Yep. Do you mind? Okay.
That's why you're here.
He'd want
So-
this.
Get your feet wet.
Okay, so, purchase and services, this is mostly contract, this is mostly contractual. Our RG, of course, is the firm we've had for like 15 plus years. This is the end of their contract, that's the last, the 73, it's a 3% increase from last year. which
In
is
other
per
words,
contract.
we give them 3-year contracts. 2021 is the last of the third year of this particular contract.
Yeah.
Just so you know,
Um,
2022 will be an unknown figure.
Yeah. Is it the second line of personal property outsourcing with our RG, that was the same thing. They, it was 2 years, and that's the last, the second housing summary. We need to give them for what they did do for personal property, which after this year, they won't be doing at all.
Okay.
The specialty appraisal, that is the ATV case that we have put monies aside for. And we're still waiting for that to go through. The next line item is the 200 for the copier contract, which is a maintenance contract. And then public notices, which you put some 300 for, which is when we set the tax rate, we have to do the public hearing and all of that.
So what was checks? All right, so if we're looking at this sheet,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So when I add these numbers up,
Yes.
I get,
86.9,
yeah,
right? And
Yeah.
then down where I highlighted the new for,
oh, we haven't gotten there yet. Okay.
right, so
That's
that's,
part
yeah,
of- that's part of
that
it.
goes into that 97, 270 as I added, yes, the 1030. Yeah,
We try to highlight the new to emphasize that they are new, but it throws your addition and math off a little bit.
Yep.
yeah.
Okay, so can we just jump down to that for a second?
Sure. There's a contract in your packet.
Yeah.
For RRC. and there's 3 separate figures.
So, since we're not experts in this, can you explain what's the difference between what you're getting from the 8,200 personal property outsourcing and the,
Okay, so what we had before was the CAMA system.
the what? Oh, CAMA.
CAMA and
Yeah.
Tyler, we're switching to Tyler.
Yeah.
In the transition, because Cynthia was going to do personal property, she did the personal,
Yeah.
so there was a platform in Tyler to put the personal property values in. The only thing that program doesn't do, it doesn't have any of the tables. So we can only use it once.
Okay.
The state agreed with that. Well, that platform, everything is in that. So we had a contract with them to do the personal property for this coming year. So we could print the bills.
Yeah.
So we could do the bills. So now that Cynthia's not here, Tyler doesn't do personal property. We needed a firm that's gonna do the values of the personal property utilities, and we needed a program. Because their
Yeah.
program doesn't have anything in it. It's just to put the actual values in and that's it. It won't value it for us, like our RC will.
Okay.
So that's why you got 2 things going. One of those will go away for next year, for the following year. So it'll only be RRC, there won't be the crossover between RRG to RRC. I know, Regional Resource Group to Regional Resource, consultants.
So,
2 different companies.
what amount would we expect to drop out next year?
That,
The
82.
RG's portion.
Mhm.
Okay,
So the
so,
personal property outsourcing of 8,200?
Yes, that'll go away after this.
so next year,
But then it's gonna be different again because we have so many accounts. Personal property is 155 accounts. We only go after the ones that have 5,000 and more. Those are the only ones they'll have to do. So that'll drop that 54 for the 155 accounts, that'll drop. That'll only go down to like 25 accounts at that $54. And then we'll only have this is just the initial part to get us started. They still have to go through every single account for the first time, unfortunately, because of the Department of Revenue. So, but then the next year, it's gonna be significantly different because they won't have to do every single account. They'll just have to do the ones that we're actually gonna get taxes from.
okay, so I just wanna make sure I'm understanding. So, next year, that 8,200 will drop out,
Yes.
and this 10,370 might be lower.
Oh, it's gonna be a lot lower,
Okay.
yes.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
say half, but it will be
Yeah,
significant.
And they're,
Yeah.
and they're
You might
giving us,
reduce it by 25%.
and they're giving us the software.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's
Just to
great,
give you
yeah.
some history, Mr. Pelletier, who owns RRC, started the company. We used to hire him to do personal property even before, when he was just a single vendor by himself, back in '03, '06. So we used to use him once every 3 years because DOR used to have a 3-year cycle. We're up to 5 now, but given the fact, in other words, he's the only one on the market anyway, but we've had a
That has a
history
program.
with him.
That's what we need is a program, that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing.
Well, we have a history with him that we know what his
Yes.
capabilities are, so.
Okay. All right.
Just out of curiosity, what is the total amount of personal property taxes we take in as a town yearly?
That I do not know off the top of my head. Would you like me to go?
No, I'm just
We might have-
curious. Hopefully it's well over 16,000.
It is. Yeah, yeah.
It is.
That actually with the utilities.
Good.
Well, and that's the 2,000 will always stay for
Oh,
utilities.
yeah, I think so.
Because utilities is so hard to value.
It was
now.
fun.
Wait, it's the revenue wants it done.
Okay, well, that clears up a lot. All right, so did anyone else have questions about purchase of services, or can we keep going down to training next?
Okay, so, yes, training, that usually is the once a year school. that I go to, well, and Cynthia used to go to, you have to keep up your accreditation. I have to keep up my points. And I go to UMass every year for the full week, and that's what that training is for. And it's usually it's about 700 and something, but there's a little bit of play in there.
We used to send Cynthia to the same thing
Yes.
as we did, so
Well, I have to keep up my accreditation.
we all have to make sure that the assistant is up to date.
Yep. Okay. And you talked about the one aspect of software support. Can you just remind us of the other two components for that line item?
Okay, software support. Tyler, of
Yep.
course. Vadar, which is the abatement module. Which, Vadar, the tax collector has
Tax
the other.
collector.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that 894 is for her cloud, her user. Like we all have a user.
Oh,
fee.
right. Yeah, because Michelle said like it's
Right.
about 900 per.
Exactly.
If you can tell me what a cloud is, I would be happy to know.
It's a big computer elsewhere.
It's out there somewhere,
It's out
We'll
there.
talk.
Yep.
but we need it, yes.
Yeah, and then the RRC, software support. Yeah,
Okay.
which is, that's the one that was supposed to be 1,500, not 12.
Okay. Registry of Deeds.
That actually is where we might have some play, because she's getting the CD every year. And there's the way to get all the deeds free. So I called them and told them no longer to send the disc, I'm not paying for it. So that's where I'm saying that's where I'm gonna have the play that I need extra for the schooling.
Yeah.
Because I go the full week, because I need the points for the full week, Monday through Friday. So that 195 is gonna help me with my training.
We should probably up the training and then get rid of the,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but basically, yeah. Yeah,
and make those more actual numbers,
right,
the 195. up.
right, so yeah, so that registry of deeds is gonna go, that's,
So can we just do that? Zero
Yeah.
out Registry of Deeds and
Yep.
add 195 to training?
perfect, that would be perfect.
Well,
Yeah,
keep in mind that the schooling is a little low. We used to,
that's why they're saying they're gonna
That's
combine
why.
it, they're gonna
oh,
add that.
combine the
Yes,
two. I
yes,
bet you
they're gonna
just said
combine.
eliminate it, okay.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to
Yep.
combine it, that's
Yep,
fine.
get rid of registry of deeds,
Yeah,
that's perfect.
that's good.
Yep, yep.
Okay. Supplies.
Self-explanatory.
Yeah, it's a little low, but hey, I'll try very hard to use that copier over there.
New treatise for the shredder.
Yeah.
In-state travel, that's for,
Yes, that's, yeah, for everything and anything. I'm not quite sure what it's going to be being new here.
It's usually mileage is what
Yeah,
in-state
yeah,
travel is
yeah.
for, yeah.
okay, dues and meetings, and then could you say a little bit about GIS?
That I'm kind of, I've only dealt with in the towns that I worked in, I've only ever dealt with just the GIS that was on, you know, when you get on the town of Bolton, and you click right on the map, GIS comes up. I've never dealt with this platform of GIS, though I do know with the contract, that's, yeah,
It's interactive, isn't
Like,
it?
do we know why it's going up $1,500?
it always goes up.
I mean, it doesn't look,
Yeah.
it doesn't actually look like it has, at least the past few years.
They usually take a percentage. They usually go up a percent, or, see, I haven't gotten anything yet on them.
Yeah. Is that, we've got 3 departments that use that.
Yes,
Correct.
the ArcGIS and the GIS, there's two different,
Right.
they're two different
So this
platforms.
is our portion?
Yeah,
Okay. That's what I thought. We, in order to, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is always telling us what to do. And there are levels of, that we have to conform to on our mapping. And in order to maintain, I think we're at a level 4 Yeah. at this
Yes.
point.
One is not as good as 4.
No, 1,
very good.
One would not be allowed by the Commonwealth of
I'm just
Massachusetts.
trying to give them an idea. 1 is not very good, 4 is good, and 5 is the highest you can go. We're at a 4 out of 5.
We're maintaining what is required by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts for mapping the parcels.
Yep.
And they, we don't have any choice in what that is going to cost. And depending on the work that they have to do in dividing parcels, and we've had in the last year, as you may have noticed, a lot of new parcels.
Yeah.
So,
And then they charge per parcel with them and everything. There's a few.
And we have an additional amount because the GIS has to go on the new format, Tyler,
Yep.
a one-shot deal, but it still has to be, Canva's leaving us, actually Canva may have left us 2 days ago or 3 days ago, but technically all towns are losing Canva in a few months. So we will only be dealing with Tyler, so that GIS format has to go on to Tyler
Okay.
for a one-shot transition.
Okay, so, because when I'm looking at some of these things that may either drop off or diminish next year,
Yeah.
that 1,500 for the estimate of cost GIS integration, that
Yeah.
might be gone FY 2022?
Yep.
Okay. All right, I mean, that makes sense.
well, they'll tell us.
Yeah.
There's no guarantees here. As you know, we've been to meet with you guys annually, and we enjoy the meeting, by the way. But we originally had allocated funds for Tyler. Tyler wasn't ready. We had to pull them back, extend them into the next year. So we can't promise how fast the integration is going to go. So whatever it's going to cost us, we have to report.
Yep.
So we'd love to see everything drop, except us, we're not making anything. But, but there's no guarantee how fast this is gonna happen. We didn't bargain on the server dying so that we'd have no longer any access to Canva. We were hoping to hang on to that. And we don't have that option, so we'll do the best we can, but we're not in charge of
Yeah.
what we have to bury in the South Cemetery.
All right.
Not in the
So-
cloud.
Not in the club. No, it won't accept dead stuff.
Actually,
It's a lot of the stuff up there probably is.
Maybe that's where the cloud is,
Yeah.
it sells so much.
So in terms of that operating budget, the Board of Assessors, the all-in number that I have is 159,036 and 20 cents.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any other questions? Is there a motion to approve?
I so move.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so is there any other information not related to the operating budget that you have tonight?
What would you like?
Well, actually,
And we'll tell you if we have it.
this has nothing to do with our budget, but normally you folks ask us how the town is doing and how much income, and if you want a few generalizations
Yeah,
at this point, we'd be happy to share that with you.
that'd be great.
If you want, if you have your time to do that.
All estimated.
Yes. And this is what was turned back.
Okay.
And this is.
First of all, new growth.
Estimating.
I don't know if you've got these figures from us prior to this, but I'll give it to you
Yes, you
now.
were at that meeting.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
turning to the page that we have.
So I don't know if I'm repeating something you already
No.
have or not.
we're of an age we like things to be repeated.
Twice is better than
You need
none.
a few times said it might make it sick.
Except for Brown.
Yeah, so, yeah, just go ahead, because
All right.
actually not everybody here was at that meeting.
Great.
Okay. New growth, 175,000, which is bottom line with,
You lied.
I lied. Where are we?
Right here, 150K.
Is this-
150,000, my
Is that for
turn.
FY '20? Or,
No, fiscal 21.
21.
That's his
what's that?
estimate, what we might get from the drug this year.
whoa, we have 200,000 in the budget.
Yeah, remember he said that? That he didn't think we were gonna get there?
No. This is the first I've heard of it.
Okay,
The-
so
the
his
new growth
email,
is
when I
being
told it up,
decreased.
says 150.
From who?
That's from David.
David, the head assessor. Just to understand, this is very preliminary in the early. David's now saying, I thought it was 175 because I talked to him about 2 weeks ago on what he would estimate the number to be, and that's why I thought 175 is acceptable. He's done some more homework, obviously. 150 now, he's saying, that doesn't mean that we couldn't reach 200.
No, I understand that, but for budget purposes,
You
like
want
last year,
more.
we were at 305, the year prior, 378, the year prior, 298.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we're dropping in half. That just doesn't seem, it seems too conservative, in my opinion.
Yeah.
but-
It's permits pulled but work not done. So what we're getting our information on what we're projecting based on the permits pulled. And if nothing is completed, no foundations go
Right.
in, that's the problem we're having. So,
You're seeing a slowdown out there?
well, it's not
This construction
exactly.
is- I mean, there's lots of stuff getting built. into
That's exactly right, but we had anticipated certain things based on what permits were pulled, additions, and this is what is coming out.
But this is for the next 18 months.
Yeah, that still
Correct.
seems
That's,
too low.
that's what's puzzling me. I can understand when you say that maybe the current year between now and June was optimistic. But to say that that stuff is not going to get done for 2 more years?
I can't tell you for sure. This is the problem of bringing this up now.
Well, the warrant has to get, I mean, we
Yeah.
have
Right.
to do the budget. That's-
Right.
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable reducing that to the.
Yeah.
Well,
We can take that up with our higher power.
yeah, get back to Ninochka before next Tuesday.
All right, I'll
'Cause
send him
we-
an email tomorrow and not I'll send Dave an email
Yeah,
tomorrow.
because Dave, when the last time I talked to him, which is like a month ago, he was fine with 200.
Well, then 2 weeks ago, you went down to 175. I can tell you, generally speaking, in this town, what's happening is that the higher value houses, the reason why this is going down, now I can't say 150 is unacceptable or 175 or 2, but your 700 and up houses are declining. We're
Right.
getting very few of those being built or sold or what have you. 500,000 or 600,000 by the same token are increasing, but they don't, the lower in value you go, the less income you get out of them. So we're losing our highest echelon, we're diminishing our highest echelon.
But that Goose Pond Path near Fox Run is like 11 houses, like $1 million homes.
2 or 3 already built.
Yeah, exactly.
Two.
And those John Powers are 900 something,
Right.
they've sold to,
I understand, but that's still a decrease from the years past. Fox Run is down tremendously in value, not in construction, in
Right.
value.
Sure.
And that's the reason why we're losing that 700 and above figure.
So I think everybody agrees that if we can know by next Tuesday whether 200 is still
I'll
approved.
send him an email first thing
Okay.
tomorrow morning. As soon as I get the answer, I'll blast it off to Ninochka.
Okay.
We'll try to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This group is not, we're not good enough to give you the figure. We rely on David R.G. to
so
produce
who
that.
was notified of the 150? Just,
That was the email that Dave had sent before that meeting.
Dave said
To me?
150.
No,
Oh.
no, that was to me.
oh, I need to be kept in the loop, because
Yeah.
if I wasn't here tonight, I wouldn't know about this. And then all of our budget models, I mean, I'm not upset with you, but I'm just, I feel kind of put out that I didn't know about this, and
That's good.
does Dawn know about this?
No, that was the email before that meeting.
I don't know what meeting.
The meeting that we had downstairs.
Oh, you're talking about
That was
back in
the-
January.
Yeah.
January, early January.
That email is from back in
Yeah,
January.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's the only figures I've gotten from him, so that's what I
Because
got.
But then I've met with him since then, so I'm confused.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay.
we'll give you
Okay.
by
Thank you.
Tuesday,
January,
which
yeah.
is,
Yeah,
Thank
we'll
you.
certainly, tomorrow, I'm not gonna do it tonight, but tomorrow we'll certainly be communicating with
Yeah.
him. And
yeah, 'cause
by,
that's when we put the 110 back into overlay. Well, they released the overlay reserve funds, 100.
Right, yeah, I got that.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. That was all at the
Yeah,
same
we
time.
did.
That was the last figures I had from him.
I suspect this email is dated
Yeah,
January 7th.
Yeah.
I suspect it's gone up, because I talked to him 2 weeks ago and he was looking at about 175.
Okay.
So, has it gone to 200? I don't know. The last figure he told me was around 175. So we will definitively, I apologize for I thought we were actually stone, but we're
Oh, you're
obviously
not.
we're not. Overlay. The other figure, I don't know if you have that, that's 110, that has not changed, I know. 110,000 returned to the,
Do you have 110, Nanachka? I feel like I have 100.
No, 110, yeah.
110, yep.
Overlay, yeah.
and those are the two figures that most, add or subtract to your budget. Everything else is in so much flux, I don't think it would be worth discussing, but the 110 hasn't changed, and I know it's good. I went through that a month ago with David and Cynthia back then, before she left. So that's pretty much, we'll check whether the 150, 175, or 2. I can tell you 2 would be a high match number if he's gone from 175 to 200,000. But we'll make sure.
Okay.
Will
You got
there
a
be
question?
any difference because of the coronavirus and the fact that the stock market is dropping and people may not be interested in buying high-priced houses?
Well,
Maybe we should think in terms.
well, let's blame it on that.
I can tell you,
I-
whatever figure,
But it will make
you
a
see, the
difference.
problem is, we have to reach the figure that we give you, or we can't just produce a figure out of way, and if we don't reach it, then, because there's no way of recouping
There's some,
anything.
what actually is going on also in Century Mill Estates is we anticipated, based on the number of lots and what was projected to be built there, a certain amount of money. And interestingly enough, when Pace has taken over, the lots were sold. And the last one that sold up there was 668,000. When those were, I was appraising
Oh, yeah,
at
those were high.
1.5, 2.1.
Be pissed if I was-
Okay, it's, I know, I mean, and they're in my backyard, I'm just hoping they don't throw rocks, but, there's different stuff that was anticipated,
Right.
than what was actually being built. And we're seeing that in different places. Moderator off
Yep.
Hudson Road,
Is that like 500,
5, yeah. Yeah, and they were projecting somewhere around the 880 that they were going to be building, and what they've ended up building is 565, 6 1/4.
Right,
So, I don't know what's going on, but we can definitely get a figure for
Right.
you.
Thank
But that's the danger in anticipating based on permits being pulled
Right.
for lots and projecting based on what they're saying they're going to build. And the 1.5 turns out to be a sale price of 668. There's a big difference.
Do you routinely account for that though? So they say it's gonna be 850 and you think that's way over the top.
We
Do
don't,
you
how would we know?
estimate? Okay,
We're going on permits.
yeah.
okay? If they're getting a permit based on an $880,000 house, and that's what they're paying for, how would we know?
I just mean in terms of projection. If you did everything at 100% of what they say before they even,
Yeah, be way off.
you'd be way off.
Well, that's why we're
Yeah.
trying to be conservative.
Yeah,
But
okay.
the thing, I mean,
That's-
this is not a department that really attempts to overreach in this department. But this is new. This is new.
Yeah.
We had stuff going, increasing in value in that price range. And that's not what's moving in town.
Yeah.
And the overall price, we've got, about a 5% increase in the total value, which is wonderful. But it's less of that.
Yeah, okay, I was
Does
just.
that make sense?
You know, it's sort of like, you know, you're sort of gambling and shaking with what you know, but you've got a real amount, but the fact is that real amount may be not realistic in the current climate.
We've always been in that position, though.
That's it's an
Every-
art, not a science.
It's Las Vegas is what it is.
You're trying to project 18 months out.
Which is different.
I know.
Yeah.
Then Oscar, you had a question?
I did. So Michelle mentioned to me today was the whole CAMA
Yes.
problem, that supplemental bills probably won't go out this year.
We don't know.
You don't know yet?
I don't know yet. Because right before I left at 3:30, Don caught me on my way out the door. Excuse me, and he said that, fingers crossed, knock on wood. In a couple of days, they might know
Okay.
if it's actually gonna be here or not.
Did we find,
They're
we were
working on
looking
it.
for somebody where we could, I think it was the software issue, that we can't load it. We have it, but we can't load it because,
They needed a very old computer.
Right.
So I don't know if if you're up to date, that I'll let you
The
guys
camera
explain.
system crashed.
Oh,
Which is all of the assessment
Oh, I did, I
data.
thought you folks knew that. Yeah, our system, the camera went
that's the
away.
server she's talking about?
Yeah,
Oh,
our
yeah.
camera went away, which is the
Our billing,
platform we've used for the last 40, 50 years.
When did that happen?
2 weeks
Sunday,
ago.
last Sunday,
2 weeks ago Sunday, yeah.
or Monday, Sunday.
So
I found out about it Monday morning, but yeah, sometime Sunday it crashed.
well, CAMA hasn't been active
CAMA, the state.
for almost 2
Camera system
years
is the
now.
Department of Revenue.
Were
It was their
multiple
system.
municipalities affected?
And that
It's their.
Yes and no.
I don't think it's
CMP
data.
The thing is
Well,
that
and the
as
computer
long
is
as
so
they,
bad, you couldn't touch the computer.
that's the problem.
It said, don't touch, don't move it,
We
don't
had
kick
one
it, don't,
computer in the
you know,
building that
it
we
was
could use
so
for the
old.
camera. And when that went, we can't, we have no way of loading that into something else. It's very, very old.
Well, how old
Software.
is that?
What
It
did
was
we,
taking, what, Windows 8, was it?
No, it was way
Way before that?
way before that.
Yeah.
It's on a very old Windows.
I'm
And I
gonna
can't
say
remember
it's,
which one
it's
because
on a Windows
I was
that
kind of
was
like, I didn't
around
realize
about
that.
Yeah, IT guys.
15 years.
97
Yeah.
to 2000.
Windows 2000 or Windows 98?
it could be.
Yeah, I think it was Windows 2000, now that you say that. That was it. And so.
I'm not a computer whiz, so
Yeah.
please don't.
Well, you're
But
you're pretty sure that 98 is passed.
It's almost possible.
2000.
Because I was here when platform came out. So,
So this might affect,
So if we can't get the data to do supplemental billing, that's, 50 grand of revenue that we will lose.
Well, not forever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Forever.
Oh, yeah.
Forever.
yeah, the supplemental bills,
Yeah, but doesn't that, wouldn't that,
no, because you're
Become-
losing those months
Yeah.
of houses that were finished, that we would be
oh,
grabbing.
I
You
see
can't-
what you're talking
Like if
about.
somebody built a house and got occupancy in August, we'd build it
Yeah.
from August
And
to
this
June.
has to happen when we've got, what, 5 open subdivisions? Oh, goody.
so
Right.
Yeah.
who's working on this?
The
IT.
Department of Revenue
And the
and
state.
IT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The state?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got somebody from the state.
Yeah.
We've got, believe me, we're doing
Yeah.
the best we can.
Yikes.
They've been working on it non-stop for 2 weeks. They had part of it, from what John was telling me from RRG, they had part of it, and like a quarter of the information came up through, not all of it. So that's still just,
So keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
It
now
does.
that'll teach us to go and get new equipment when we need it in a timely fashion.
That should have been taken care of a long time ago.
Or
Oh,
print,
yeah.
print property
A
from
long
Yep.
time ago.
Oh, it should.
Hindsight.
We will be asking for new computers
July 1st.
July 1st.
We're already in queue.
Yeah, I think.
I already talked
yeah.
to the IT guy.
Paul's
He
already
already
got it.
has them on his order form.
Did you have backups of this stuff?
There was supposed to have been backups through CM Geeks. That's why they're working with the state.
Okay.
And the backups they're thinking may have been corrupted. That's, yeah. So it wasn't, yeah. As I say, like a quarter of the information is coming through, not all of it. So they're still really working hard to try to get it to load.
Do you have a question?
It's nauseating.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? No?
Nope, good.
All right, well, thank you.
Yeah, we'll let you know about the 50,000.
Yeah, good luck.
I would say that if they don't get anything, they had almost 2 weeks to work on it, 10 days to work on it. Another 10 days, if it's a no-go, then we're not gonna see it. Just so, middle of March is kind of the time frame we'll know where we're going.
All right, good luck. All right, thank you.
So what happens if it can't come back?
What happens if it
What
doesn't?
happens if you don't get the data?
No,
there is-
actually, yeah, actually, David did something about, individually. Do you remember we were talking about this, that David had
Took to his office every single property.
every single,
Right, yeah, 3 days prior to it crashing, he had printed out every single property record card, which was like over 1,200 cards from camera, but he only printed that 1 year. So
Right.
if we lose camera completely, there is no history for the last 15 years in our office in value other than the tax collectors.
Correct.
That stuff's not online someplace?
no,
Online for that stuff.
it was inconceivable to all of us that a platform would just go away. And we were getting it, it was a function of the state, and God bless them, they quit. They wouldn't support it any longer. So for 3 years, we were out shopping for a replacement system that would be compatible with what we were using and also cost effective. CAMA was still alive at that time, but they're not supporting it, so there is nowhere to get it.
The ironical thing is, if this had happened 3 or 4 months from now, we would have been fine, because the transfer to Tyler
Would have been complete by,
But
right,
it
June.
happened
And it's
before
almost
we
done.
were able to transfer all the CAMA data onto the Tyler data.
Or if Tyler had been ready to,
Right back when. you
Go.
wanted
When it was
Yeah.
meant to be.
Yeah.
Tyler
Okay.
was
That was like
delayed a year.
A year
year
ago.
that
ago.
was,
Yeah.
it was a
I remember
year,
talking about it last.
right?
month,
I mean, we
yeah.
had allocated the funds for the conversion in fiscal 19.
That's crazy.
And they were not ready to do it. If they had been ready to go, we wouldn't be in this situation.
So
It's a perfect storm.
Yeah.
I can't believe the state doesn't have the, you know,
That's what I,
the
right,
backup for
exactly.
it. I mean,
State should have-
they were sent everything,
Right.
all the time,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, the state
And-
should be,
Responsible for
Yeah.
this. And the fact that the assessor's office
We're
is
gonna
under the
adjourn.
auspices.
Oh, never mind.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, this is
No,
getting
no, no.
digressing into
Yeah.
our problems, but
Um,
we'll keep you certainly, Nanaka and everybody else abreast of what's
All
going
right.
on.
Thanks. Is there a motion to adjourn?
We'll go.